More and more big companies seem to be getting the idea that remote play focused devices are the future, while a lot of people and audiences are kind of mixed on it seems. Last year, Logitech released the G Cloud. Most recently, we've heard rumors of PlayStation potentially working on a remote play device. And earlier this year, we got the release of the Razer Edge, a particularly shiny looking option that not only offers the ability to remote play games over Wi-Fi, but also includes a more expensive 5G model that allows you to also play games completely on the go, no Wi-Fi required. And similar to my experiences with the G Cloud, using the Razer Edge actually did result in a lot of pleasant surprises in terms of the experience of using it, but still has this overhanging question mark of how necessary something like this is. So let's go over what makes the Razer Edge different, my experience of using it, and whether or not it is actually something worth grabbing. Real quick disclosure, the Razer Edge that you'll be seeing me use in this video and that I'm reviewing is a review unit that was sent to me via Qualcomm, so thank you very much to them for that. Now let's get into it. So what is the Razer Edge? Well, similar to the Logitech G Cloud, while this is an original product coming from Razer and there are some unique bells and whistles about it, ultimately this is an Android device that is making use of some Razer accessories as well as an app to gear it more towards the use of being a remote play dedicated device. That said, it is a pretty competently powerful Android device, so if you did want to also use this for running Android games specifically and make use of all of its additional features, it's still going to do all that very well. Where I'm really interested though is again in this idea of it being something on remote play focus. Now what does make the Razer Edge a little bit different compared to other remote play devices that we've seen start to enter the market is that it is actually two separate components. There's the Razer Edge tablet itself, and then it comes with a Razer Kishi 2 Pro. If you wanted to, the Edge tablet can be used entirely on its own, but the idea here for at least remote play purposes is that you are using these together to get that full handheld gaming experience. Now, as far as the Kishi 2 Pro goes, basically this is a vice grip style controller that wraps around the body of the Razer Edge. It is tight and snug enough to where, while it still doesn't have the same kind of hardness that a unibody design would offer, it never felt loose in a way that ever bothered me. You of course get a full controller layout with a pair of sticks, a D-pad, clicky ABXY buttons, shoulder triggers, as well as a pair of remappable buttons located on the inside of the shoulder buttons that you can remap any button you'd like to it, which is very handy. The controller does feature a pair of ports, one for audio, so you can plug in and use a wired headset if you'd like, as well as a USB-C port that's primarily used for power pass-through, so you can charge the Razer Edge while it's still in the Kishi grip. I will note real quick that when charging the device, I noticed that plugging directly in the tablet was noticeably faster than when doing it as a pass-through, so if you ever need to make sure the Edge tablet charges up quickly, would definitely recommend not making use of that pass-through when possible. Lastly, one of the new unique features of this particular Kishi controller is that it does also include haptics that work similar to some of the haptic-based headsets that Razer has, where it's not actually doing any vibration based on specific cues that the game is telling it to vibrate on, but rather it is reacting to the audio created by the game. So anytime there are very loud explosions, loud gunshots, that's the kind of stuff that's going to cause the haptics to act up. And for the most part, this ends up working out really well. And as someone who really enjoys having those kind of immersive features in a controller, it's something that I really appreciate this offering. Now, as for the Edge tablet, as far as it acts as a display for gaming, it is a 6.8-inch 1080p screen that actually has a 20:9 aspect ratio, so there's going to be a little bit of extra width for some of the games that you'll be remote playing, although anything played natively that can support that wider display is going to fill it up real nice. The display is OLED, which allows for wonderful looking colors to pop, and offers a 144Hz refresh rate, which allows for extremely smooth looking gameplay for those things that you are playing natively. When it comes to remote play, there are a number of different remote play apps that are going to be only stopping at 60 frames per second, so you're not going to take full advantage of that higher refresh rate, though there are some specific cases where you can hit higher. So technical spec listing of things aside, what is the actual experience of using the Razer Edge? Well, honestly, the main opinion that I really come walking away with is that this is a really cool execution of a product that I'm still not really sold on the concept of. When you have a strong connection and the remote play or cloud gaming app of your choice is running smoothly, the gameplay experience is wonderful. The 1080p OLED display allows for beautiful looking gameplay, and the haptics of the controller allow for an extra level of immersion that slightly recreates the experience of playing something at home on a larger screen TV, which is something that I really enjoy. Specific apps that I tested and messed around with included things like GeForce Now, Steam Link, Xbox Cloud Gaming, remote playing in Xbox, and remote playing PlayStation, which is something we're going to talk a little bit more about in a bit because there's some special rules going on with that one. But for the most part, again, when connection was strong, all these experiences felt really nice and smooth. But that's also where that clarifier is really important to talk about, when the connection is strong. As always, the experience of using a remote play device is heavily reliant on how good of a Wi-Fi internet connection you have, or in the case of using the 5G model of the Razer Edge, how good of a 5G signal you can get. Which, as it turns out, I don't actually get the best 5G signal here at the office or at home, which of course I'm still going to use Wi-Fi by default in those situations, but when going out and finding areas where 5G was strong, the experience was much more smooth and enjoyable. But that is, again, a very important variable to be aware of. Overall, really, the best experience that I was consistently having when using this, similar to when I was using the Logitech G Cloud, was Steam Link, specifically when using it over local Wi-Fi, where I was able to remotely play my PC and get the visuals and quality of a high-powered gaming PC, but on a smaller handheld body that also isn't draining as much battery because it's not running the game natively, compared to something like, say, the Steam Deck. Not only that, but running Steam Link in this situation is one of the few times that you can really actually push the frame rate well beyond the kind of 60 frame cap that you see a lot of other streaming apps have, and take full advantage of the Edge's higher refresh rate. As long as I was staying on my home local Wi-Fi and using my gaming PC remotely. This again highlights the kind of strange situation with these remote play focused devices where, in these specific niche cases where it works great, it is a wonderful experience. It's just very limiting and case by case where you have to be aware of where and how you're using it. Speaking of which, PS5 Remote Play is another kind of special situation. Because of the way that PlayStation 5 Remote Play works with Android devices, you're not actually able to take advantage of the Keyshoot controller with it directly. There are some third-party apps out there that do actually allow you to do this if you're comfortable with that. However, one thing that I did realize with the Razer Edge's two-piece body design is that there is still a way to very comfortably use this on the go for PlayStation Remote Play specifically, if that is a feature you want to take advantage of, which is the fact that, well, you can just use the Edge tablet by itself and pair it with a DualSense controller. There are various phone and tablet clips out there that you can buy that are designed to latch around a DualSense controller and you can make use of with the Razer Edge, allowing for a great remote play experience, just one that doesn't take full advantage of all the features the Razer Edge would like to offer, such as the Keyshoot haptics. Ultimately, the value of a device like this is heavily reliant on what other products you own or what other services you're paying for, whether that's things like remote playing an Xbox or a PlayStation, or using Steam Link over local area network, or paying for services like GeForce Now or Xbox Game Pass to play games via cloud gaming. And the more of these services that you're willing to pay for, and the more of these products that you already own, the more the value of something like this really becomes fully realized. I think a really good way to sum up my feelings about the Razer Edge is this. Having access to this handheld, because of, again, a review unit sent to me, it has become my favorite way of doing remote play services. If I'm thinking of doing things like remote playing my Xbox or PlayStation, or I want to take advantage of Steam Link at home, this is going to be the device that I reach for without fail. That said, knowing what I know now about the experience of using the Razer Edge, would I go out of my way to spend $400 to $600 to grab one instead of relying on, say, my phone with a Bluetooth controller? Quite frankly, no. I think it's a really cool piece of tech, and in terms of the concept of a remote play dedicated device, it is the best execution so far that I've been able to make use of. Ultimately, it runs into the same problems that other currently available remote play devices do. It is an expensive piece of luxury gaming tech that competes with a device that anyone who's already interested in this kind of stuff probably already has access to via the smartphone in their pocket. If you have the kind of money to be able to just invest in a ton of different pieces of gaming tech and you like the idea of a remote play dedicated device, the Razer Edge is an excellent option for that, and probably my favorite one right now. I just don't see a product like this making sense to the vast majority of regular users out there. So those are my thoughts on the Razer Edge. If you do have the kind of money to just throw down on something like this and you want to grab one, I do have a link posted down below in the description. Thanks again to Qualcomm for sending over the review unit for me to try out. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button to let me know, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you guys later.